Don't give me the Zotz. That's the saying Frank Landry was famous for in his hometown, circa 1970. He used the phrase when he thought someone was pulling his leg. So when Frank returned from Europe with some Italian fizzing candy, and the neighborhood kids kept asking for more, he knew he had a business on his hands and knew exactly what to call it. Similarly, when we founded this podcast, we had no idea how good it would be. Actually, I'm just giving you the Zats. We knew exactly how good it would be, and we knew what we needed to call it. You tried it! You tried that! I'm Nick Nowak with my pals Chad Hancock,
Howdy.
Nick Geiger.
I'll take all your extra Zotz if you don't want them.
Wait,
Give
so
me the Zats.
Yeah.
was his business model steal other people's food and then pretend he invented it or something like?
Yes.
You
His
I
got
business
it.
model is like, I'm going to travel all the way to Italy, buy a bunch of stuff, and then sell it to kids for like pennies. It's like a
Yeah.
great business model.
That is exactly. I'm actually gonna find because someone at work asked, "What are you guys trying tonight?" I told them, and they looked it up and read the same exact about. I'm gonna read from their website this exact story of the guy, and you can tell me because it sounds like they glossed completely over the fact that he stole someone's idea and sold it as his own. It says in 1970, Frank Landry returned from Europe with some Italian candies he received as a gift. He gave the box of candy to his children. Soon all the neighborhood kids were pestering him for more of that fizzy, funny candy. At the time, Frank was in a habit of saying, "Don't give me the Zats," if he thought someone was pulling his leg. With two Z's and fizz and two Z's and Zats, the name stuck, and the first order of Zats candy was shipped in July 1970. Now, close to 50 years later, Zats is still going strong. Okay, so he went to Europe. He got some Italian candy. The kids all wanted it, and then he suddenly had a company.
I remember when I ordered a large pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut, and people came to my house and wanted it. And I was like, "Oh, I should just start selling Pizza Hut's pizza." I mean, what phrase does my dad say all the time? All right, welcome. I'm in a new pizzeria, half past a monkey's ass.
Hadn't you been in the habit of saying, "Don't give me the za"? And so it made sense that you then sold pizza.
Yeah, the za. I do. My dad would occasionally call pizza za, and I would want to punch him. This is the dumbest sounding thing anyone says. It's pretty good za, right? Shut the fuck up, Dad.
Give me a real New York slice of za.
My dad also always said, it's funny that you mentioned half past a monkey's ass, because my dad must have said half past a monkey's ass, quarter to his balls 1,000 times.
It's like the dumbest dad thing. My dad is like all the old dad sayings. Like you'd say, like, "Oh, did you get your?" He goes like, "What'd you do last night?" I'm like, "Oh, I got my hair cut." He's like, "Why didn't you get them all cut?" Like that kind of shit.
Yes. Oh
Constantly.
My God, get them all cut. I've heard get them all cut so many times.
He would do this thing like we'd get to a grocery store or wherever we were driving, and he'd park the car and he'd go, "Well, here," the captain shouted as he jumped upon the deck, and then he'd get out of the car. And I'm like, "What the fuck is that?"
What?
I don't know.
No, that one's just him, I think.
My dad was a playwright. I forgot to mention.
I've never seen your dad say anything with that much vigor in my life.
Oh, you should have heard him say
that.
You should have heard him say the monkey's ass part. He loved that one. No. A quarter to his balls. He would like jump up and wave his arms around.
I don't think my dad was like a big nerd scientist. I don't think he ever had any of those like hokey things. Honestly, the only sentence I think I ever heard him say more than once was "pharmacology, Art Hancock speaking," which is how he would answer the phone when I called him at work.
His famous saying. The other one that comes to mind, my dad said a lot, was "It's raining harder than a cow pissing on a flat rock." That was another one.
That's a good one. I've never heard that before. I know both my dad and my stepmother would constantly use the, he or she or it is as useless as a bull with tits. I heard that one quite a bit. These are all nice aphorisms from some weirdos that we know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, sometimes my dad would use the like pharmaceuticals. This is Art Hancock. Sometimes he would say
Remember when your dad like created that candy company called Pharmaceuticals? Art Hancock.
Like, but let's be clear. My dad worked in pharmacology, not pharmaceuticals. Isn't
Oh,
pharmaceuticals
sorry.
like drugs? Like a drug dealer? Your dad was just a drug dealer using my dad's name.
All these kids on the street, like, I got that sweet, sweet Art Hancock. You want some of it? What?
That explains that time your dad was just getting carried away in the police car when you'd done absolutely nothing wrong.
They're like slamming him down over the like, you know, the hood of the police car to like and reading him his rights, and he's just like, "Pharmaceuticals, Art Hancock speaking."
Now you're really gonna see what it's like when a cow pisses on a flat rock. He's like, what? What are you talking about?
Is that what happens in jail?
Yep.
You got it.
All right. So lead into this, but Gagger, you were with me at a time when we went shopping, and I was going to propose to my then fiance, now wife, and I didn't know anything about getting a ring. As you guys probably went through a similar experience.
Mhm.
You go out looking at rings, everything looks the same, right?
Yep.
You look at a diamond under a microscope, and I'm supposed to see this or that. But, you know, mostly I'm just sort of saying, oh yeah. And he's like, if you look to the left, you know, you'll see so-and-so. And you're like, oh yeah. Even though I'm just like, he could literally be selling me anything.
You're like, me looking through this microscope is as useless as a bull with tits.
Yeah, it's like not even, he hasn't even put the diamond under the head. He's just like put his lunch under there. It's like, oh yeah, it looks good.
This ring is very ham sandwichy.
I've met your wife. She might have actually appreciated a nice ham sandwich more than a ring.
That's true. So I asked Gagger, do you want to come along with me? And we went like to the mall where there's so many jewelry shops. And the guy, one of the ones we went to, I absolutely decided I'm not buying from this guy 2 minutes into the conversation. And there's probably a lot of jewelry salesmen like this, but just like really overly hamming it up, like, yeah, what do you like? And when I picked one out, and he's like holding it up, and guy, do you remember what he said? The one part I remember him saying was, "Don't be afraid, man. Go ahead, handle it."
Yeah, he's like, oh, you can, hey, put it on. You can touch it. Don't be afraid. It's not going to bite you. He kept saying, it's not going to bite you. And I kept looking at you.
Sounds like what a child predator says. Like, go ahead, touch it. Don't be afraid.
I just remember looking at Novak, and the whole time this guy's being such a smarmy douchebag and saying stuff like, just put it on, man. Hey, hold it. And you didn't, it was clear you had wanted nothing to do with him and just wanted to walk away, but we couldn't. And I remember thinking, I cannot wait for 30 seconds after we've walked out of the store so we can immediately start making fun of this fucking dipshit. Because it was such a weird experience.
He's like, go on, take a bite. I'm like, I don't want your fucking ham sandwich. There you go.
I came in here looking for turkey, and you're giving me a ham sandwich.
And I have such a hard time, like, I've gotten better as I get older, but, like, just telling the people, no, leave me alone, like, stop with your sales pitch. And I did get much better at it recently when we went to look at cars. It was a while back, but I just kept saying, no, we got to go. And I came up with the excuse of we had to meet our kids' friends at the beach, and the kids were with us. And so I said, yeah, we got to meet their friends at the beach. And I'm like, we really got to go, like right now, we're going to be late. And we start walking away from the table. And of course the guy's like, no, you know, let me show you a couple more numbers. We just start walking away. And my daughter, real loud, was like 8 at the time, was like, We're not going to going to the beach to meet any friends.
Sold you out.
Owned.
I hate that shit. I borrowed an old move from my dad. Speaking of my dad, like I think I told the story a long time ago in the podcast about him yelling at the Best Buy guy for trying to sell him a printer. We were buying a car, and it was literally like you buy the car, and then they try to sell you all the shit over and over again, all the warranty packages, and it was like, you just told me how great this car is. Now you're telling me it's gonna fall apart the minute I drive away. And I finally said, they kept going, well, what if it was like 75% less or 75%? I'm like, no. He goes, what if it's like half off? And I go, no. And the guy goes, look, I can't do any better than that. I'm like, then I don't want to buy it. I finally looked at the guy. I'm like, unless it's $0, I don't want it. Right? Now, please write it up. I'm not paying a single dime for it. So please write the car up. It's just so frustrating.
Okay, so you don't want it at half off, but what if it was half past a monkey's ass, quarter to his palm?
That was beautiful. Yeah, I probably would have been. You got me there, Big Mac or whatever he called himself. Oh man.
I remember. I mean, I haven't bought a car. You guys remember the last car I bought was that Jetta that I got in like whatever 04 or 03, whatever it was, which I don't have it anymore. But that one was kind of funny because I was at the dealership and one of our other friends dropped me off at the dealership because I knew I was going to buy that car, right? Like I had done all the research and stuff, and I was pretty confident I was going to get it, but I was actually like unemployed at the time, which they didn't realize, and so then they were like going to run my credit. Right. But then they found out that like I was unemployed and they were like now not sure if I was actually going to get the loan. But the dealership was like 30 minutes away from our house and I had no way to get home. So like we're just sitting there like crossing our fingers, like waiting for the bank to call back whether or not it's approved. And then I remember and like I could see the look on like the guy's face, like he's like, what am I gonna do if this fucking kid is like stuck here? Like I gotta call him a cab or drive him home myself or something. And then when the bank called back and said I was approved, like the whole like showroom just like like erupted.
Is that what a car dealer has to do? Is drive you home if you can't afford to buy a car? I don't think that's
actually.
His job.
I was just. He was gonna have to take me back to his house, and like I was gonna have dinner with his family and stuff. He was gonna put me up for the night.
Adopt you.
Yeah.
Share his Zotz with you.
He was going to be my new dad, and then every time I called him, he'd be like, car dealership, Art Hancock speaking.
He had to use your dad's name, too, from now on?
Yeah.
Hancock and Hancock, car dealership.
Look, you want to be my dad, you got to use the right name. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I was lucky with the ring buying process because my wife wanted to use her grandmother's ring or gemstone. I just had to buy the band, which was perfect for me because I was broke as fuck when I asked my wife to marry me. So I lucked out. I can't say too. It was one of those things though that we went to this local jeweler that made custom jewelry in her hometown, and her mom kept going like, "Listen closely, Nick," and I'm like, "Oh God!" Like the whole like, "This is what she likes, Nick," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
fine. Will you marry me?" Like right there in the store. I just yelled at her. I got on one knee and I'm like, I feel like useless as a bull with tits if you don't say yes to me.
Will you marry me, Art Hancock?
Wedding proposals, Art Hancock. What?
Yeah, I got pretty lucky too because basically my wife like found the ring that she wanted. And like just sent me an email to like the store to like it was on the website of the store, and she's like, "This is the one. When you're ready to buy me a ring, this is the one you get." And so I was just like, "No brain." It couldn't have been any easier.
I think that was a Zales ad, right? When when your wife sends you an email instructing you what to buy her.
I would prefer that. I would just prefer to be told. It's like a nice thought that I would put some of my own personal thought in, but I have no like idea what's good or not good. So
yeah,
like if you don't send me a picture of a ring, I'm bringing home a ham sandwich. This is a possibility. All right. Well, we don't have ham sandwiches today. We've got 3 snacks we're gonna eat. We're gonna rate it on a 5-point scale. I love that, like that, indifferent to that, dislike that, and hate that. And let's get the dark bark out of the way. So it's Taza chocolate dark bark, 80% dark organic chocolate thins. And these are the sea salt and almonds. The sea salt is back, and the almonds are back to kill Geiger.
Yeah. We have been away from sea salt.
Yeah, I missed it.
This smells like bile. Am I wrong? It smells so fucking weird.
Well, oh no, I guess I thought maybe it was expired, but it says Best Buy 10/29 because 10/29/21 because I got these a while ago. That actually like we order some food sometimes from this place called Imperfect Produce where they give you like leftover or they give you like vegetables and fruits and stuff that aren't like good enough for they're like slightly too big or like weird shaped or whatever. But anyways, they also have some snacks and like they just randomly threw in these 2 bags one week. Like we didn't order it or ask for it or whatever because I would never order this with my own money. Let's be clear. So anyways, free snacks.
Fucking America has a place that sells tomatoes that are slightly too misshapen to sell to the regular public. All the other countries are like, fuck, give us the food. No, sorry, this onion has too many strings on the bottom. Rejected.
It really is like that. Like most of the shit that we get, I'm like, this is like we get broccoli from them that's like imperfect broccoli, and I'm like, this looks like normal fucking broccoli. Like I don't understand what the problem is with this broccoli.
Yeah, it's actually just moldy cauliflower.
Yeah.
This monkey's ass and balls are not quite shaven enough for me.
It's only 40% past this monkey's ass, so it's not.
I was just gonna say it's only
monkey's
a quarter past. It's only a quarter past the ass,
but halfway to the balls.
So this is basically like peanut brittle shaped, but flat piece of chocolate, very dark chocolate, and the nuts on top, the almonds, are very chopped up. It's like chopped almonds. This 80%. The higher the chocolate percent goes up, the harder it is to eat much of it.
The lower percent chance, I like it.
Right.
I had have you guys ever had like super like pure really high concentrate dark chocolate before, like the 90% dark or that kind of stuff?
I think I did, yeah.
I've had it to like you cook it into something, and then I've like tried a bite of it and it's just awful.
Yeah we went to a bunch of years ago. We took a tour of the Scharfenberger Chocolate Factory, which is over in Oakland. I think since then they've been bought by like Hershey's or whatever, but it used to be like a small independent chocolate place, and they prided themselves on making like all the super dark chocolate, and they were like, even their milk chocolate, quote unquote, was still like 45% dark, which is like way darker than like say a Hershey dark bar, And so they would give us like all these samples, and it was all just completely inedible. Like it's so drying and like bitter, and I'm like, I don't understand how anybody likes this. Like it has no sugar. Why would you eat this?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Geiger, don't give us a Zotz here. Don't beat around the bush. Pull our leg. What do you think of this chocolate?
I'm not gonna waste your time like a cow pissing on a flat rock or whatever the fuck your dad was saying. It's okay. I like dark chocolate. This is on the border of being too bitter, but I don't mind the chocolate flavor. I know that's probably, I'm the only one who'll say that today, probably, but the chocolate flavor itself, I don't mind. My problem is the 2 things. It reeks like shit. I don't know what it is, but it just smells bad to me, which isn't a big deal as long as it tastes fine, which it does. And obviously the almonds are already, I can tell, making my throat a little verklempt. So I can't in good faith. No, that's fine. I can't say that I'm going to ever eat it again because of the almond presence, but it's an indifferent. I don't mind it. I like the chocolate taste. It just is brought down by the almonds. If there was no almonds, I'd probably say I like that. I really do. I really do like dark chocolate. So, but because the almonds, and it's just strictly because of my my allergy, I'm going to give it an indifferent.
All right. Indifferent. Chad, what do you think?
Well, I'm not the biggest fan of almonds to begin with. I mean, they're fine, but I don't really think they add anything in terms of flavor. This is no exception. This thing is drying as hell. Like it's like cinnamon challenge bark. Like it just completely dries out your mouth when you try to eat it. On top of that, it's so bitter. And then combine that with like I don't actually really like almonds. I taste no sea salt. None at all.
It's a good
So
point. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
all these things together, this isn't the worst thing we've ever eaten, but it is getting a hate dat from me. I think it's really gross.
Well said, Chad. This I was prepared to just maybe say indifferent upon a bite, but the longer it sat, like my mouth kept getting drier after I'd swallowed it 2 minutes previous. It's really off-putting. I do not want to take another bite. I like almonds. I don't. The almonds cannot save it. It's way too bitter, way too dry, like Chad said. I'm doubling up on a hate dat. So
Nice.
we've got 2 hates and an indifferent. To start out with the dark bark, probably will be beaten. Let's do the Zotz next. We've got. You should have
Give me the
3, hopefully, different candies. Now, the Zotz are an Italian candy that a guy wrapped in his own packaging.
Geiger, didn't you one time you took a trip to Italy and then you came back with just like a huge plate of spaghetti and meatballs and like threw it at all the neighborhood kids? Didn't you do that?
Yes, I threw it at all of them. I just whipped it in their faces. Look what I found in Italy! And just whipped them.
Give me money!
Pay me for this
spicy
privilege.
meatball wing. Yeah, I did bring pasta back with me, and I exposed it to America. I said, "Look at this strange new food. We'll call it spaghetti." I just raised my arms up in the air. Now that's why I'm a millionaire.
Which one are we eating first?
I'll start with the blue raspberry because that's the one
Okay.
I'm expecting to like the least. We also have
Alright.
orange and grape.
They're all individually packaged. It says fizzing candy. That's how it's promoted.
And we tried other fizzy stuff in the past, right? Like
Bottle caps, right, or whatever.
bottle caps, kind of and it was like a fizzy Oreo in there at one point.
I don't notice any fizzing, do you?
When you
starting to come out.
break it open, when you
Mhm.
break it open,
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, it's shooting
it
out the end. for
explodes
me.
in your mouth.
What the hell?
What did you think of fizzy
Wow.
candy was?
Mm.
I didn't know. I thought it'd be like Pop Rocks-ish. Okay, so there's definitely some inside to it. It just looks like a piece of hard candy. I thought it would be solid through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mine's got marinara sauce in the middle.
Oh.
Mine's got spaghetti in the middle.
No,
Not what
backwards
this
just have in
is.
the middle.
I'm trying to I was trying to think back to what your dad said about "I'm here," said the captain as he jumped up on the deck. What?
We're here,
What
the
is
captain
it saying?
shouted. We're here, the captain shouted as he jumped upon the deck.
He said that every time you guys would like arrive at the grocery
No,
store
no,
or
I would have
whatever.
enough times for me to remember it. Let's put it that way.
I'm picturing him doing like a box jump onto the hood of the car and like saluting or something.
Onto a hood of what car? A Mattel Matchbox car? My dad, you couldn't slide a fucking piece of paper under my dad's jump. All right. The man was an athlete, but not for his vertical leap. Let's just say that. One of the more earthbound humans I've ever met. I like blue raspberry as a flavor. You don't like blue raspberry, Chad?
Well, I didn't know what to expect. Like, in general, I don't like raspberries, but I think a lot of that is because it's got like a ton of little seeds in it
Mhm.
that I don't love. But like the flavor of raspberry itself is fine, but I would never pick it over like cherry or strawberry.
But I feel like blue raspberry doesn't taste like raspberry. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
not
what the fuck is
candy
blue
flavor.
raspberry?
It's a candy flavor that exists. Like, just like the flavor of grape in like food does not actually taste like a grape. You know, like grape popsicles don't taste like grapes.
Hmm.
I don't think so. Maybe
All right.
I'm wrong. All right.
Grape's usually my favorite flavor of candy, so I'm
Agreed.
gonna have the grape. The grape's better than the blue raspberry. I actually think I might prefer it before they break open.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, you're up first. What do you think?
Well, they're not good enough to make me want to steal someone else's business and repackage it as my own. But they are pretty good. Actually, to me, the weakest one here was the orange. I didn't think it was that pronounced enough of a flavor. Then I would put blue raspberry. The grape is the best. I think that's pretty good, actually. I think all three flavors are pretty good to varying degrees. I kind of agree with Novak, actually, where once you break it open, it loses a little bit. Like, it is fun, right? You have that, like, flavor explosion. Very fun. I love fun foods, as we've talked about in the past. But then it kind of becomes chewy, and it does stick to your teeth a little bit, like, as you sort of chew it, which brings it down a little bit. But still, I think it's pretty tasty, so I am just going to barely slide it into a like that.
All right. I don't think I can get there. The candy tastes fine. I would consider a low level like that without the fizzy part on the inside. The fizzy part changed the taste. It took the good flavor part away. I don't know. I wouldn't reach for these again, but I'm not going to tell someone not to have them. To me, it's very much an indifferent. So a like, an indifferent. Geiger, where are you going to fall?
So I didn't bite into mine. I just sucked on it until like the very tail. There's like a little tailpipe at the end, and it shot like a little stream of the fizzy into my mouth. And then afterward, should I keep going? And then afterward, I tickled the balls. Yeah, okay. No. Once I got to the candy's taint, I found the monkey's ass, and then I went all the way past his balls.
Then what'd you do?
Fucked him. Then I went to the jewelry store and bought a ham sandwich and asked if he'd marry me. I like the candy. I think it tastes good. I think the flavors are good. I didn't get to the orange because, like I said, I was sucking on mine. That's just chewing them. And so I don't have the stuck in my teeth part. I will admit the fizz is overpowering. Like Noah said, it's much more like of an acidic flavor, and it kind of changes the rest of the candy taste. But I think it's nice. I don't mind the Zotz once it comes out of the middle. I don't mind a little bit of the Zotz. I think it tastes good. And I like the contrast a little bit. I'm going to give these a solid like that. I think they're good.
Wow. All right. 2 likes and an indifferent. I wonder why the guy before was saying, don't give me the Zotz. Like, where did that come from?
I couldn't imagine what it means.
He was just like a raging alcoholic, and like, don't give me the Zotz. He was trying to say something else, but like,
he was probably saying Zot. I was trying to hand him pizza. He's like, don't give me that Zot. And they just burped out Zotz instead.
That's probably right.
So this guy's a millionaire off of this? Is it like he just stole someone else's intellectual property, and now they don't have newspapers over in Italy or whatever? They couldn't find out.
They have no idea they took his candy.
Hey, what you do over there? That's a Maya candy. That's how they all are reacting.
He went over and watched his soccer game, and he saw Coach Geocache on the sideline eating an Italian candy.
Coach Cash kept yelling like, "Get the Zotz out!" Like at all his teammates. He was like, "Yeah, I'm going to use that Zotz thing. That's going to be my thing when I get back to the States."
I've passed a monkey's ass.
A quarter to his cannoli. Now he's New Yorker. I don't know what the fuck happened to Coach Cash. Right. Let's move on.
That passed a monkey's ass. I'm walking here.
All right. So it's been a while since we've returned to this fan favorite segment, but it is once again time to do whatever it takes to your computer to get to the special spot where you can find
Dark Web Hot or Not Fast Food Edition.
What did that say? Fast Food Edition?
Dark Web Hot or Not Fast Food Edition.
You could have just told us. We didn't have to listen to the voice.
I'll take Chad's line. took me 30 seconds to put that together. All right, so we've got 8 mascots, all from the world of fast food.
Mhm.
And if you go to the dark web, you can find these ratings. I'm not giving you the Zotz. These are not things that I made up. These are real dark web scores. All right, so
From the dark web's version of hotornot.com.
yes, correct.
Right, gotcha.
Okay.
There's a lot of explanation required because people might not even know what hot or not
Or the dark
web. Or fast food.
or what that robot said. So all right. We're going to start out with one of a mascot that wasn't around when we were kids. I think came out when we were teens. This is the Burger King King. Big old giant king face. Early on, he was they would put him in like a football game where he'd be tackling somebody. And since he's not as popular as much anymore, but most people know him. So, Guy, you're going to start. What did the Burger King King get? You're on a scale of 1 to 10 with the decimal point.
Let me just say, I think the Burger King King is fantastic. I think he's hilarious. He's got the best quality a mascot can have, in that he's doing human interactions, but he can't change his facial expression. So he just has this giant, big, dumb, goofy grin on his face as he's like sacking a QB or something in those commercials.
Right.
He is also made more enjoyable to me by our good friend Stevie B dressing as him for Halloween and like hip hop dancing in someone's living room with the king's like face on his face. It just looks great.
One of the all-time best Halloween costumes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And he has a regal presence. Now, I do think his constant smiling visage, although it is entertaining to me, would make him maybe a little more creepy than like someone's trying to find him hot, where he's just like smiling insanely as like he's staring at the mother sleeping or something, which is what most hot guys do.
The mother? Who's the mother?
The mother? What?
I thought you said why he stares at the mother sleeping.
No, it says that them while they're sleeping.
Oh.
Well, he stares at your mother while she sleeps. As a typical hot guy move. This is the really dark web. We have a lot of that fucking weird fanfic. I'm going to say scale of 1 to 10. Again, 10 being the hottest. I think the king is pulling a solid 6. I think he's kind of right in the middle.
Higher or lower than that, Chad?
Oh, much higher. Actually, I think I watched that Twilight movie, only the first Twilight movie, and I'm pretty sure that happens like pretty early on, where Robert Pattinson like goes in and just stares at her while she sleeps, and then she like falls in love with him. So I think he might be onto something there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But anyways, look, there's something about royalty, all right, that women really love, and I'm just look. Everybody is attracted to different people, but I'm just gonna throw out the example of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. No other commentary needed there, I think. So I think that because he's a king, he's going to get a much higher rating than you would otherwise think. I'm going to go 9.4 for the king.
Wow.
He's king of burgers. He's not like a king of a kingdom. He's a king of greasy, flattened beef.
So it came in between. It was in between what you guys thought. He scored a 7.5 because he has a nice beard, right? He is regal. I think people like that. But the way he dresses with the tights and everything, it's a little dated. I don't think that's necessarily what the ladies like. But he's a decent-looking guy compared to a lot of other mascots. Mm-hmm. So 7.5 was his score. The second one's going to be the Jack in the Box guy. Now, if I don't know if you know this guy well. If not, then look him up.
I do. Yeah.
He's kind of a smiley face with the party hat, right? He's got a big white head. And I don't know what his name is, but I guess Jack. He's Jack from Jack in the Box.
It's Jack.
All right. Chad, you're starting. What do you think Jack got?
Yeah, you guys might not have seen those commercials that much because I don't think they have Jack in the Box out in Chicago, but they do have it out here, and we see the commercials a lot, and they're actually pretty funny. He's just a normal guy, talks in a normal way, except has the big white ping pong ball head, and his facial expressions actually do change. He will like based on what people say, they'll like cut to somebody else like saying like, hey, you got a small dick, and they'll cut back to him and he's frowning or whatever.
Yes, they say in the commercial, "Hey, you've got
Never
a
saw that
small
commercial.
dick."
And he's like, that's why my burgers are so big. But and but he's like a svelte guy in a suit. So I think if you can get over the giant white head, you could find him to be attractive in some way. So but that big white head is a big hurdle to leap. So I think I'm gonna go down to maybe like a 4.8.
All right, Geiger, higher or lower than that?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty hot. He's a well-dressed guy, nice body, nice suit. Colossal snowman head. That's going to be an obstacle. He definitely looks like I looked him up. It's like a giant frosty snowman head with like a dunce cap on.
Right.
Apparently, according to Wikipedia, he has a family. He has Jack Box Jr., Jane Box is his daughter, and Jake Box is another son. So, but it doesn't list a wife. So maybe Jack Box just gets
The mother.
around. The mother that everyone knows you're just supposed to watch sleeping. I too would look at Jack Box and say, "Oh man, he must have a huge dick because look at his nose or whatever it is." Chad was claiming, but I think okay, sorry. I gotta say, I don't think he can be. Again, he's Natalie attired, and he seems like a dapper man about town. But I think most women would just have a hard time with that colossal snowball head. So I'm gonna give him. Oh, that's an upside down ice cream cone, isn't it? I'm just putting that together. I am gonna give him a 2.
You almost got it, Geigers. He got a 1.7.
Okay,
I think
all
Chad
right.
said it right where the giant ping pong ball head is a big hurdle to get over. It looks like something from a horror film.
Yeah.
And I think he's scaring people off, so he got a very low score.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got who else than Colonel Sanders?
Oh.
Colonel Sanders, we all know from KFC
Mm-hmm.
with his white, old man, white hair and beard. Geiger, what do you think old Colonel got?
So you're talking about dapper dressers. This guy wears like a crisp white suit every day, only doesn't have to struggle with having a giant oversized globe as a head. He also, you mentioned before, women like a nice shapely beard. This guy's got some nicely groomed and distinctive facial hair. In his now against in his
Wow,
not favor,
you're a big fan.
yeah, well, yeah. As a man who's never once groomed his facial hair, I'm impressed. I will say in the column against him, he's got 2 things. Man is old as fuck. I mean, he's like an old geezer. But
big hurdle.
He's what's that?
It's a big hurdle.
It's a big hurdle, looking like he'll collapse into a pile of bones if you touch him. 2, he's an old Southern colonel, which I think, isn't there some like weird like old Southern plantation guy undertones with him? I'm just saying, isn't he kind of like a racist?
He's putting off those vibes. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's not 2021 type of a look.
It's not exactly subtext with him. Yeah, I think he might have some views that I'd rather not hear about on Facebook. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say he's gonna be a 5. No, a 4, a 4.5. I'll say 4.5. However, I do think there's a subset of women that go for the grandpa look that'll be into him.
All right, Chad, higher or lower than 4.5?
I'm gonna go lower. I mean, he for sure is giving off War Between the States vibes. Like, there's no question about that. but KFC just recently did that like short film. Did you guys see the like ads for that or whatever, where they had Mario Lopez playing the Colonel?
Oh right.
Yeah, they made. Yeah, I did see that.
And so if it was that Colonel, like, that one I could allow
He's
them
KFC,
to take
in
me
other
to
words.
dinner.
Yeah.
He is, yeah. I would allow him to take me to dinner. But I don't think we're talking about that. I think we're talking about old man, like, gonna have a heart attack and collapse on top of you mid thrust, Colonel. And so I am going low on this, 0.8.
Wow. Oh, wow. He's like a grease stain
So
at that point.
the Colonel actually scored a 3.4.
Oh.
He's, I think, a part of the few points he got was what Geiger mentioned. There is a subset who have taken the red pill and kind of are turned down a bit by his attire.
Or in the case of chicken, is like the other red pill? Isn't chicken the other red meat, or no?
Right.
Is that something else? I don't remember. All right, never mind.
It's something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But Sanders, he is well groomed, but also some issues there. So 3.4.
Jack Box is way better looking than the Colonel. I would way rather take
Colonel is a human.
I guarantee the Colonel fucked at some point. I guarantee Jack Box has not.
He has
he
two
does.
kids, though.
He has 3 kids.
That's true.
You just told me.
That's
so
true.
he
I
fucked
wonder if
at least 3 times.
some other globe-headed woman, apparently.
He's also achieved the rank of Colonel, which is not easy to do. So, all right, number 4. It is Little Caesar from the Little Caesar's Pizza. He is looks pretty much like a tiny cartoon Julius Caesar with a little toga, orange toga, and leafy headdress. So, Chad, you're up first.
Yeah. All right. Little Caesar and Uggo. He's short. He's got green hair and not much of it. Like there, is that green hair or is that
no? That's like a
I think
wreath.
he's got that like
it's like an Aristotle wreath kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. So he's bald and he's wearing a toga. Who is gonna find a toga hot unless it's like at a frat party or something? I guess. Plus his pizza sucks. This one's gonna be like right near the bottom. I'm gonna stick with my last rating. I'm gonna go 0.8 for Little Caesar.
Wow. Geiger, what do you think?
If only his pizza would better, he'd be getting laid constantly.
Yeah, he'd be up to a whole 0.9 maybe with better pizza.
I agree. This guy, I'm with Chad. He is a no-go. He's bald. He's got a little, in some of the pictures I'm seeing, he's got a little chest hair coming out. I don't know why they drew that on there, but you can see a little taco meat, but I don't think that helps him. He's wearing a toga, sandals, so his feet probably are stinky and weird looking. He's kind of like if Danny DeVito walked around with a pizza all the time, which I don't think that any woman wants to fuck Danny DeVito.
With a pizza?
Someone does probably. With a pizza. With Sans Pizza, they might take him down.
Sans Pizza,
he's
yeah.
But when he's holding an extra large with pepperoni, no one wants to fucks with that. I will say Little Caesar's guy. Yeah, what's he like? 4'2"? He's like a sawed off. Yeah, he's ugly. I'd say Chad said 0.8. I'll give him a 2, but yeah, I'll go with my last rating 2. He's Uggo.
Oh, you guys were way off this time.
Boy.
He got an 8.2.
Let's hear about Novak's hard on for Little Caesar's guy.
The ladies love. This is not me.
Novak's like, look, I just get rock hard for bad pizza, okay?
Novak's walking around with 2 pizzas stabbed on top of his erect dick like Little Caesar has on his spear there.
He is a college guy, all right? That's why he wears the toga. He has the cool headdress. And as Geiger mentioned, he's got an extra large pepperoni. This guy is getting it done.
Oh, okay. Is he hot and ready all the time?
Women go for that Roman look, and they are all in for Julius. So.
They love somebody that has a 1-word vocabulary and stutters all the time. Pizza.
He's a big, dumb frat guy. He's a college frat guy, basically. So 8.2 here.
Wow.
All right. Number 5, Chuck E. Cheese. So Chuck E. Cheese, we all know from the restaurant of his namesake. It's changed a bit over the years. So, Geiger, what do you think Chuck Cheese is pulling?
Ooh, Charles E. Cheese, huh?
Charcoal's cheese.
Charcoal's cheese. To put it in Chad's parlance, being a giant rat is going to it'd be a little bit of a hurdle, I think, for
It's
a
a
lot of
hurdle.
women. It's a slight hurdle in that he's a walking vermin.
Right.
That's how he's billed as vermin.
Walking vermin. Charles.
It's your favorite vermin, children.
It also depends on whether you look at like the mascot version of him now, or like some of the old, like if you go back and look at some of those old animatronic robots of Chuck E. Cheese, dude looks fucked. He's got like giant buck teeth. His eyes don't point in the right direction. He's like got an epileptic seizure every time he tries to move. More modern Charles Cheese is a little sexier. I think he's got a nice smile, but still he's a mouse or whatever the fuck. Is he a rat or a mouse? Do we know? I think he's a mouse, right? Because of the cheese part. So
I'm not sure he's really either.
I mean, the problem is,
he's a robot. He's neither.
He's a drawing.
He's a 6 foot tall mouse, wears sneakers and a t-shirt with a C on it. And I think the problem is he's not even the most famous mascot. Like, if you're a mouse chaser, if you want some of that sweet mouse cock, you're going to be running around chasing Mickey, right? Mickey's the rock star mouse. Charles Cheese is a little bit downscale from Mickey Mouse. So I'm going to say Chuck E. Cheese is rocking a 3.
All right, Chad. Higher, lower?
So you actually kind of came close with what you said, Geiger, but you said that Mickey is the rock star mouse, but that's where you're wrong. Chuck is the rock star mouse. He actually leads a rock band. He is a literal rock star mouse. And as we know, women love the front man of a band, right?
Oh, yeah. Women love going to a children's pizza parlor to hear you rock out. That's a great point. Remember when Aerosmith closed a Domino's in your neighborhood?
Look. Chuck, he's got a great voice. He plays the guitar, and his movements are very, very precise. Okay, so
he's got a great voice. he does. I couldn't tell you word one that he said.
Happy birthday to you.
I'm pretty sure Charles Cheese is the one who sang that Dark Web Hot or Not at the beginning here.
I think the women on the dark web, they react to Chuck E. Cheese singing Happy Birthday the way like guys reacted to Marilyn Monroe's Happy Birthday back in the day. Like, I think it's the equivalent. So I think it's a pretty high rating here. I'm going to go 7.3 for Chuck.
Wow. I'm picturing Chuck as his rock band leader, just ending "Happy Birthday to you," and then the robot's head like goes towards some mom in the crowd and goes, "Show me your tits."
And she's like,
meet me backstage.
How
old are you, Chaz?
Hey, you in the blouse. Tits, get the fuck out. You want some of this cheese?
So Chucky,
what's the deal? You got a stepdad over there? Is that it? What's the deal, kid?
He can't. It's a robot. He can't move. And then he turns back to the manager real slow. Take my pants down for me.
Hey, Julie, you're gonna have to come over here. Yep. No, just sit right on the guitar. I can't move it. I can't.
He's like, burn. You want to see my half past my mouse's ass, quarter to my balls?
The Chuck E. Cheese guy's like, I don't know why they built the robots with penises. It's like, kind of a strange feature,
but I guess we got no choice but to whip it out right now.
Well, originally, when we started the conversation, Chucky had gotten a 4.3, but I just checked back after our talk, and he's up to a 6.3.
Wow. Chaz Cheese with a late comeback there.
You have to Google, I can cut this out or not, but Google Showbiz Pizza Bear. I couldn't put him in because nobody knows who he is. But he's the fucking goofiest looking mascot of all time. I love him. So
He looks like he's 800 pounds.
Showbiz Pizza was like a Chuck E. Cheese competitor. So if you're listening, Google Google Showbiz Pizza Bear.
It is like
right
the
up my
robot
fucking alley.
the robot personification of witless moron. It looks like.
There is.
Dumb.
I mean, I don't know. I remember we told this before, but there's nothing that I find funnier than a goofy-looking animatronic bear like this, and the Country Bear Jamboree are just the funniest fucking things in the world to me.
All right, we got to speed through these last three. Now these last three are all they're all McDonald's based. Okay, wow. Doing some McDonald's rating. So the three McDonald's men, right, that we all know. Let's start with Grimace. Chad, tell us what score Grimace would get.
Well, it's got quite a dumper. I can say that.
World class dumper.
World class dumper. The most pear-shaped dumper of all. But purple's a little bit of a hurdle. So I think he's going to be pretty low. I'm going 2-2.
Geiger?
Yeah, I think he's got a nice demeanor. I think he's friendly, but as we all know, a lot of women don't go for the nice guys. They go for the bad boys. And just a kind of a generally sunny dispositioned amorphous purple blob. Not sure that's going to play with the ladies. So I'm with Chad. I don't want to price his right, so I'll try to go under. I'll go 1.7.
All right, Grimace actually pulled a 4. He's definitely a bit confusing. He's a jolly, fun time guy, and I think most people are confused. Yeah, so they're just going to put him in the middle,
including me right now. How's he a 4? Does he have a dick? I don't even know.
It's a hurdle people are willing to jump. All right, what about the Hamburglar, Geiger?
Oh man, now this is what I'm talking about. Everyone likes a bad boy, right? Like he's a criminal. He's a suave man of mystery. You don't even see his face. He's got a mask on.
Everyone likes a criminal.
You know, the only men who are happily sexually satisfied are criminals. They're the only ones who can pull broads. No, I'm kidding. I think the other problem though, doesn't he have a pretty doofy like 2-tooth smile, if I recall correctly? That is, his dentistry is holding him back there a little bit. But I do think he's mysterious and he's a bad boy. So I'm gonna say he rates a surprising 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chad, higher, lower?
Yeah, much lower. Look, he is mysterious, and he will bring you a
mysterious
burger.
As fuck.
Yeah, super mysterious. He'll bring you a burger at all hours, right? Like, you want a burger, it's 3 a.m., here's one. He just stole it. And that's great. But
he's the original Mr. Zotz.
He's the Zotz burglar.
Came back from a trip from Hamburg, Germany, and started a whole franchise.
Started McDonald's. Changed his name to Ray Kroc.
But the fact of the matter is, like, his mug is really not getting it done. So I am going to go lower. I'm going to go 4.9.
Hamburglar got a 2.6. He's a criminal, but he's a doofy looking criminal. And he's not mysterious. For a guy who's like trying to hide in the background, I've seen him more than any criminal ever. He's very shitty at his criminal job.
There's no mystery. His motives are out in the open. Steal burgers.
It's right there in the name.
What a sexier crime is there to be stealing hamburger patties, though? Like when you're pillow talking with someone, you're like, "Hey, baby, you up?" And he's just like real slowly, like, "Robble, robble, robble." Like that's pretty hot.
I forgot he said that. That's even worse. All right. Last but not least.
Yeah.
The all-timer.
Yeah.
The king of McDonald's. Ronnie McDonald.
Ronnie.
So, Chad, what's Ronnie getting?
All right. So, Ron is, he's in pretty good shape.
Ron McDonald.
You know you're fucking him when you can call him Ron. On a first name basis.
But he is a fucking clown, and I don't
Hurdle.
Go on. What? I sense a hurdle.
I don't. Now he does have big feet, so there's that. But they could just be fake clown shoes. So he might be, putting on a front there. Geiger, you might like him because he does have Shaq-sized shoes. But
it would blow my mind.
But overall, I think most people don't find clowns hot. So I'm gonna go maybe around a 5'2".
All right, 5'2", Geiger, higher or lower?
Ooh. So okay, here's the thing about Ronnie McD. He is, yes, I agree. Hurdle. He's a clown, and he wears brightly colored yellow and red clothing. Not a great combo.
I'm glad you agree he's a clown.
We can all agree he's a clown. He's got bright red hair, and yes, clowns are probably not high on the fetish scale, I'm guessing. I don't know for a fact. I can't say. But I will say he's highly successful. He's the front man of the most well-known corporation on earth. Okay, it's not just some run-of-the-mill mascot. He's no fucking Jack in the Box who half the country hasn't even heard of, and his head is
powerful.
Also not a snow globe. He at least has human characteristics. There's ostensibly a human under the clown makeup. Now, I guess this depends on whether you think is he allowed to take off the makeup when you're
nope,
dating him, or is he's in clown makeup the entire time?
He's a clown.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who he is.
That's okay. I'll be honest with you guys, bit of a hurdle, but over 6 billion people served. I mean, what else can he say? The guy's like the Bill Gates of fast food. Okay, that's right. He owns McDonald's. That's what I'm going to go out and say. So I'm going to say Ronald McDonald. I mean, he's Ron. He's big swinging dick Ronald McDonald. Ronnie McD. Ronnie McFucking D. He's a 9, baby. Ronnie McFucking D.
Whoa.
Ron McD. The D stands for dick.
Yeah, that's
All
right. Big Shaq-sized shoes.
So, all right, here's this straight up on Ron.
Oh, boy.
He's a clown.
Did some research. Turned out he's a clown.
All these issues you mentioned, every one of them a huge hurdle to get over. Hurdle after hurdle after hurdle.
Yeah.
However, and Geiger, you should have known this. Ronnie can make it rain from 3. We saw it happen. That brings the ladies in.
Oh, yeah.
Ron McDonald, you got it right on Geiger. 9.0.
There it is.
When you shoot with that kind of percentage, you get a high score.
He's the Steph Curry of the fast food world. Yeah.
So that has been
Dark web hot or not. Fast food edition.
all right. Let's eat a Snickers. A Snickers brownie. This is the Snickers peanut brownie squares. Now these are new. When did these come out, Chad? Because you bought these.
Yeah, so these actually came out in January, and if you guys remember, this was in our year-end recap, Mount Snackmore. We talked about 6 snacks that we wanted to try this year. This is the first one that was on that list, and if you guys remember, it said, "Is it even legal for Snickers to keep making more products?" Well, we're about to find out if this is illegal or not. Now, just a quick recap: Geiger and I both predicted we would give this a like dat, and Novak, you predicted an indifferent. So, not trying to anchor your scores in any way there, but we'll see how our predictions held up here.
Novak is normally staunchly against messing with perfection.
Correct.
Yeah. And they've basically They replaced the nougat with a brownie layer. It still has peanuts and caramel.
This is not like I imagined it.
How
At first glance, it doesn't seem that much different.
Right. I thought there'd be more significant brownie flavor, like a more prominent brownie layer. I thought it would be a thicker bar. Now this is a kind of I'm trying to think of something of similar thickness, but it's not that much thicker than like a Charleston Chew or something like that from top to bottom.
Yeah, why? So it's split into 2 squares like those other Snickers peanut butter and stuff that we tried in the past, but I feel like those ones were thicker than this. Like, why is it so
Yes.
thin?
It's definitely flatter, and it mutes the brownie because there's not enough space in there for any like actual brownie like texture or flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't taste brownie-ish as much as it just tastes like more chocolate in there, which obviously brownie is chocolate, but what did we eat recently that had a stronger brownie taste to it? I can't think of something that had a brownie in the middle. Oh, the brownie M&Ms, right?
Oh, right.
Yes.
The fudge brownie.
And
Yeah.
I thought those did a better job making it taste like a brownie than this does. If you didn't say this was a brownie Snickers, I don't think I'd say that. Like if I ate this blindfolded, I'm not sure I would tell you this was brownie.
I literally was thinking exactly as you were saying that. I was literally thinking if I had closed my eyes and you gave it to me, I'd just think it was a Snickers.
So because of that, I anticipated something different, I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. Now, I would never, under any circumstance, get this over a Snickers, a regular
Right.
Snickers.
Right.
Of course.
Because even, it does taste Snickers-ish, but there's less of it. Like, the thinness makes it worse. Like, I don't want a thin Snickers. But I am going to, it still does taste good. In all fairness, I'm going to put it up into a low level like that to start us out here. So it definitely has a chance to get to the Zotz. It's going to be close, I think. Geiger, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's a Snickers, and the Snickers is great. I think it tastes good. I like the flavor. I don't understand why it's in like it's a different shape. I don't understand why I had to break it into two pieces. And I guess I'm torn a little bit because I want to. I feel like it should taste like a brownie if it says it does, and I don't think it does. But at the end of the day, it's tasty, and I liked it. And it's a solid like that. It tastes really good. The chocolate's good. The peanuts, the caramel. It's a Snicker in almost every way. To me, the change isn't discernible enough to downgrade it, but that's also kind of why I feel like I should. But at the end of the day, it's a solid like that. It's tasty as heck.
You would not get this over a regular Snickers, would you?
No, because I also think the dimensions of a Snickers are better. Like it's thicker, it's rounder. Like there's more of the inside to eat. Like I like the Snickers better, the original Snickers, obviously, and the original Snickers is I love that probably. But this is still, it just still tastes very good at the end of the day, right?
Do you like it more or less than the Zotz, which you also gave a like that to?
I like this more than the Zotz. I'm always going to be more lean toward like chocolate if I have my druthers. So I like it more than the Zotz, but the Zotz are pretty good.
All right, so here's where we stand. Zotz had 2 likes and an indifferent. So if Chad likes this bar, the Snickers peanut brownie will take the win. If he's indifferent to it, we've got a tie. And if somehow he dislikes it, then Zotz is going to take home the win. So, Chad, what do you think?
Well, I mean, you guys touched on it, but you went in the opposite direction as me because you talked about how this thing advertises that it has a brownie taste on the package. There is no brownie flavor there. They've taken away the nougat, which is actually a pretty good part of the Snickers, and just put in some extra chocolate, which is worse than the chocolate on the outside. And then they made it thinner, which throws off the ratios. And they turned it into the 2 square version of a Snickers, which is always inferior to the full bar, right? Like
Right.
the fun size Snickers sucks compared to the full bar Snickers, right? So the fact that it says it's supposed to be a brownie Snickers and it's not is why I'm downgrading it. Like it tastes fine.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes fine, but it's like just on flavor alone, it's maybe a low level like that. But there is no brownie there. There should be. I thought
You're
about
giving my speech.
Yeah, exactly. I thought about going down to a dislike that, but I'm not going to. I will stick with an indifferent to that. But it's very disappointing. I think they could have had something good if they'd made it maybe thicker, made the brownie flavor a little more pronounced. So I'm disappointed.
Okay. We have a tie matchup. Technically, if we wanted to, the only guy who liked them both, Geiger, did say that he would go for the Snickers. So
yeah,
that Snickers maybe deserves the slight win. But we'll leave it at this. We'll leave it to the listener to decide.
Mm-hmm.
So go to Italy. and get Italian fizzing candy.
And misappropriate it and sell it as your own.
Right. All
Isn't
right.
it kind
So
of strange that he named it after something he didn't want people to give him any of? Like, quick, give me your Zotz.
that is weird.
And then he just decided to
Right.
name his fortune after that. Anyway, go ahead.
Fortune.
I'm assuming he's rich.
Literally, the first time I've ever seen these was when I saw them in the store.
Bill Zotz died penniless. His only mention on a very little listened to podcast.
All right, Gagger,
Wait,
where can...
his last name was Zotz also?
Oh, yeah. Right. I just assume everyone names their company after themselves.
I often walk around and tell the kids in the neighborhood, don't give me the Hancock. It's like a pretty common thing I say.
Don't give me the Hancock, pharmacology.
So I'll pile into that clown car joke there real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
if
Schmeeds.
yeah, if you want to, if you have heard of Zotz before, if someone has given you the Zotz and you either didn't want them, or even if you just know what the Zotz are outside of this candy, please let us know. If you're a citizen of Italy looking for royalties for your fizzy candy that was stolen out from under you by a crass American, or if you just, I don't know, have a distinct idea about which fast food mascot you'd like to bet, or maybe have betted one of these and want to tell us how it was, you can reach out to us at youtridethat@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group, You Tried That. We are on Twitter at #YouTriedThat. We're on YouTube. We are on Instagram. We're all over the place where you can get podcasts. We'd love it if you would
We are Instagram.
We are Instagram. It's now called You Tried That, Graham. We are also social media, all of it.
Doing it for the dad.
The only place we've yet to take over is the dark web, and we're coming for you, robot.
Dark web, you
Yeah.
tried that.
I give this indifferent to that. Let us know what you think of everything. Leave us a like, leave us a review, and as always, thanks for listening.
All right, quick before we go, if you guys had to peddle hardcore pharmaceuticals, illegal pharmaceuticals, right?
Uh-huh.
You had to. So you were told, here's a bunch of hardcore drugs. Go to the streets and sell this, or else you will die. Like you have to do it, right? So you have to do it.
Yeah.
What would you do? We throw you into the street. Do you have a sales pitch? What are you gonna do?
I'm wondering, do I have a quota, or can I just like walk around town until I find like a dime on the street and pick it up and then like throw all the drugs like and be like, I sold them, but I only got 10 cents or whatever.
Okay, so you're gonna get $1 million for every customer who buys drugs from you, and you will not get arrested for it in the process.
Oh, this is
so
much
whatever,
more incentivizing.
You will go scot-free in the end. Right. Well, let's say you can get arrested. That's fair, but you won't like spend your life in jail. But so there is some like just to make you do it in a covert way. So what would you do?
Is someone going to tell me what it is and what it'll do to someone? Like, am I just saying, like, I got some
well,
pills.
Yeah, it's not just an indescript bag. I mean, you know the drugs you're selling.
Pharmaceuticals. That's all you told me.
Let me throw this strategy out there, okay? Because I actually don't want to like enable people's unfortunate drug habits or whatever. Like somebody who's like having a hard time in life, and I'm just making their life worse or whatever. But there is a segment of the population who is known to use drugs that I don't give a shit about, and that's Wall Street assholes. So I'm going to go to Wall Street, I'm going to sell them all my shit and just be like, I hope you all overdose and stop like ruining the economy and all that other shit, and then just let it rip.
Guy in a suit walks up, hold on, are you a Wall Street asshole? Do I have some Vicodin for you? So I get $1 million for every pill I sell? I'll ruin
every sale.
I'll ruin an addict's life. I don't give a goddamn. $1 million? No, I'm kidding. I would feel bad about it, and I would be petrified to go to jail. Because guys, look at me. I'm gonna be fucking candy passed around in that jail. I'm gonna be the Zotz of jail. I'm gonna have to fizz all over people. I strategy. I don't know. Just I don't know.
Everybody's going to be throwing their spaghetti at your face. If
I'd
you know
probably
what I
just
mean.
go to a college campus and be like, "Hey guys, drugs, like indiscriminate bottles of pills." Like,
what a salesman!
Hello, fellow children. Drugs.
I probably won't look like an undercover cop at all. Hey, there's some. Hey guys, hey fellow youths, would you like to try a drug? What is that?
Hey guys, drugs. 3 simple words to my strategy. Hey guys, drugs.
Hey, look, it's drugs. Pay me for them? Investors, potentially you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for this week. We've got some guests coming up our next few weeks, so make sure you come back and keep downloading, listen to You Tried Dad. We'll be back next time when we'll be trying out 3 brand new snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.